Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is chaosdrive and I'm making a game. It's a cyberpunk themed action/precision platformer. In this devlog, I'll be focusing on something different, game audio. I'll be showing off some of the sounds I've put into the game, and I've also made the first soundtrack for the game as well, which I'll be showing off at the end of the video. With that said, let's get started. So I recently started work on chapter 1 of the game, and also started working on polish and game feel. So much of a game's polish comes from the game audio, so I thought it was important to start implementing this. I created a sound system with inspiration from Peyton Burnham, which I'll link in the description, and started searching for sounds. Now, I'll definitely be doing some of the sound design myself in the future, but for most of these early sounds, I used a website called zapsplat.com, which has a massive library of free sounds to download. I'll dive into showing off the sound effects now. The first sounds I put in were the player footstep sounds. I found 3 sounds that I thought sounded somewhat similar and randomized them in-game whenever the player is running. I should mention that after downloading these from Zapsplat, I also edit them in my DAW and put effects on them to make them sound right for the game. For the footsteps, I just put an EQ and a little reverb. Next, I added a grunt sound when the player jumps. This can easily get annoying, so I found 4 different sounds to sort through just to make sure the player isn't hearing the same sound 2 times in a row. I also added a simple hit sound when the player lands on the ground, and the volume of the hit sound depends on how hard the player lands. After this, I added a sound effect for when the player slides, just a simple whoosh sound. This kind of summed up the player sound so far. The last sound I added to the player was a sound for when he's sliding down a wall. I actually made the sound myself using a synthesizer. It's just pretty much white noise with a filter. So those are the player sounds as of now, but I also implemented a couple of sounds for the environment. For this, I created my own function called play sound distance, which will basically play a sound and alter the volume based on how far away it is from the player. This can be done using GameMaker's built-in audio emitters, but I wanted the sound to apply to an area, not just a single point. For instance, when you're close to the hazardous water, it makes a bubbling sound. No matter where you are around the body of water, the closer you are, the louder the sound. If I'd used an audio emitter with a single point in the middle of the water, then you wouldn't hear the sound at all if you were standing near the edge of the water body. So, with my function, I specify a rectangle that I want the sound to play from. Besides this, I added a splash and evaporate sound effect for when you fall in the water. These are all the sound effects in-game right now, and I have to say, it really brings the game to life. There's still a lot more sounds that need to be added, but this is a good start. Okay, now I'm going to break down the first music track for the game. I do have experience with making music. I've been making music as a hobby for about 4 years now. I love using synths, and so the cyberpunk theme of the game is perfect for my music style. For the first track, I wanted to make an ambient sewer song to play in the background of the first chapter. I wanted it to feel open and spacey, and also a little bit eerie. So here's the track breakdown. I found a synth patch that was really breathy and creepy sounding. Then I pitched it down an octave. And I added some EQ to make it sound more muffled. This will be the backbone of the song. Next, I found a cool detuned lead sound. I added reverb, EQ, and made a slow melody with it. After that, I created some basic chords using a synth organ with reverb and EQ. The last component I added was a deep sub bass to bring it all together. Without further ado, here is the first soundtrack for Chapter 1, called Beneath. really hope you guys enjoyed this different type of devlog. In the next devlog, we'll be focusing on more level design, hazards, and combat, but I definitely look forward to making the next audio devlog in the future. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.